Good morning, everyone. This is Lydia here at Lydia's Leisurely Stitching, and today is Friday, October 17th, 2025, and it is the start of the 24 hours of cross-stitch weekend. So I had asked in my last video if I should spend all 24 hours on one project, or if I should work on 3 projects over the weekend, and the majority of you voted for 3 projects, and I had also asked what my third project should be. So I knew that if I was going to work on 3 projects, I would work on Once Upon a Fairytale and my Poltergeist Pirates. And 2 of you voted for Victorian Christmas Eve, I think especially because that's the closest to a finish. But 4 of you voted on Log Cabin Home, so that's what I'm going to work on. And I'm actually going to start off day 1 working on Log Cabin Home. So that's here. I had been working on it this week, so it was already on my hoop. And to start off with, I'm going to work on finishing these stitches here, kind of in the greenery. If you look on Pattern Keeper, those are the last few stitches I need to finish that page. So it should be a pretty quick goal to accomplish. And then I'm going to work on finishing these stitches here in the bed of the truck and the porch of the cabin. So those are my goals to begin with. Like I said, I've already been working on it so far this week. My monthly goal is to do 2,200 stitches on this, and I have about 700 stitches left to reach my monthly goal. So that's good, because if I'm moving it 24 hours over 3 days, typically I don't count hours. I usually count stitches and try to aim for 2,400 stitches. So divided by 3 projects, that'd be 800 stitches per project. So that would get me to reach my monthly goal. I am going to count hours this time and see how far I get. So let's get stitching. Hi everyone, I just wanted to check in real quick. So I'm at 4 hours done for the day, and I've done 559 stitches so far. So I was able to finish off that page that I was working on up here, and I filled in this. And so I thought this was the bed of the truck and the porch, but you see that there's these red stitches here, and these are some dark green stitches. So I realized that these 2 are actually plants, kind of like this plant here or the plant hanging up here. So that's an interesting detail that's come out today. I started today at 9:30, and I stitched for about an hour, and I was just so tired I wasn't enjoying it. So I went and I took a nap, and I got back up around noon and stitched for another hour, and then I went and did some grocery shopping. So I had a bit of a slow start to the weekend. So it's 4:30 now, and I'm just now getting to 4 hours done. So I don't know that I'll get to 8 hours done today, but still got a lot of stitching left in the day. And I'm over halfway to my stitch count goal. Like I said, my goal is usually to do about 800 stitches a day during 24 hours of cross stitch. So 560, that means I just need 240 more. So obviously I'm going to fill in these stitches here in the body of the truck. I don't think I'll fill in the wheels completely. I think that I'll come over here and work on filling in the rest of these steps, which do have a lot of confetti, so that might slow me down a little bit. But we'll see where we get to. Now, I also wanted to share something with you. I've got a little bit of an unboxing. Yesterday was my birthday, and I got this package in the mail, which is my birthday gift to myself. I haven't opened it up yet. I just tore open the package. Oops, we've lost one. And these are kits from the Buttons and Beads Mill Hill Christmas Village series. So I am working on these kits, and I've done 3 or 4 of them so far, and my plan is to make them into flat folds. I'm stitching them on fabric rather than the given perforated paper. And I've noticed that some of them have seemed to have gone out of print. They have been out of stock for a while on 123 Stitch, and I've been seeing them going for like $40 on eBay. So when I saw a bunch of them for $12 on eBay, I decided to get them to save on shipping. So I've got the Firehouse, Citibank, Daily News, the Schoolhouse, St. Nicholas Cathedral, and the Village Bakery. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to add to my collection. So that's exciting to receive those in the mail. And my plan is to do one of them in December. And I think I'll actually I have 2 kits in stash that I already owned. So I'll do one of the 2 that I already owned, and I'll get to these later. So I'm going to get back to stitching on my cabin, which I don't think I told you what it's called technically. So that's Ornament Log Cabin Home. Let me pull it back out. Ornament Log Cabin Home. The artwork is by Dominic Davison, and it's a Heaven and Earth Designs chart. And I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross on 25 count. So I'll get back to this, and I'll check in later in the day. Hello again, everyone. It is now 8 p.m. on Friday night, and I'm at 6 hours and 40 minutes, and I've done 942 stitches on this piece today. So that's pretty good considering my goal was 800. I am in the middle of a couple of challenges, so I need 300 black stitches. So I've been working on the black. I need about 120 more. And then another challenge I'm doing needs maybe 100 more stitches than that. So I think that I will continue working on this piece, but for right now I'm going to take a break from it. I'm going to switch over to my daily 30 piece and get my daily 30 minutes of stitching done on that. So I'll set this aside and pull out my daily 30 piece. So this is Pixie Lane, and this is by Pine Needles, and I'm stitching this on 32 count Frog Prints Lugana from Grace Notes Fabrics, and there's a total of 5 houses. So I'm working on the last house, and it's going to be a little mushroom. So it's got a white stalk, and those are the start of some windows in there. So I'm going to get working on this and do my 30 minutes on this, and then I'll switch back to Log Cabin. So I'll see you in a little bit. Hi everyone, it's now 9:20 and I just hit 8 hours exactly, and I am tired, so I'm quitting for the night. So I did my 30 minutes on Pixie Lane, and so I finished filling in this window here. I think it's got like a little planter inside of it, and so those are little flowers. And then I counted up to the top of the mushroom, and I started on the cap. So I put in 40 stitches, and that doesn't count the half stitches. So I put in 40 stitches in 30 minutes. And then to finish out the rest of the 8 hours, I went back to Ornament Log Cabin Home, and I was working on a challenge to do 300 black stitches. So I finished off the 300 black stitches, and so that challenge is completed. And then for one more challenge, I need about 200 more stitches. So in the morning, I plan on putting in 200 stitches in this, and then I'll check in with you on the final spot that I end up at, and I'll show you my starting point on my next whip, which I think is going to be Poltergeist Pirates, is what I'll focus on tomorrow. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It's now Saturday morning, and it's about 11:40, and I worked this morning to get 184 stitches into Ornament, Log Cabin Home. And so I did 1,065 stitches yesterday for a total of 1,249 stitches for the weekend. And I've taken it off the hoop, so I'll pull it back so you can see the whole thing. There it is. So I started this at 78% yesterday, and I've put in a whole percent, and I'm now at 79.3% complete. So I think that that is a very successful weekend on this one. And it's now time for me to switch projects. And so we'll go over here, and I'm switching to Poltergeist Pirates by Glendon Place. And this is my starting point. And so the main mast that has the pirate flag on it, I think I'm going to work on bringing that down and finishing off the sail in the middle there. I don't have a stitch count plan for this one since it's a paper chart. It's a little bit harder for me to count the stitches, so we're just going to work on this one until the end of the day. So I'll check in with you a little bit later. It's now 7:50 in the evening, and I've done 7 hours and 10 minutes of stitching today. So I did 608 back stitches. I outlined this part of the sail and started over here. And then in addition to that, I did 530 stitches earlier on the bottom of the piece before I moved to the hoop. So I've done over 800 stitches today, which is pretty good. I still need to do my daily 30 piece. So that's this one. That's Pixie Lane by Pine Needles. So I'm going to whip this out for 30 minutes. And then I'm going to finish up the evening stitching on this. I don't have any more Facebook challenges to use this one for, but I want to give it the love, and I think it would be nice to get more of the outlining done. They say on the chart not to save the back stitching until the end, and that is very good because there is a lot of back stitching, and like here you can see this row of stitches has back stitch on the bottom and to the top. So in the body of the ship there's a lot of back stitching to add detail, so that's definitely a good idea for this piece. So I think this will be the last clip for the night, and I will be back in the morning with my third and final main piece of 24 hours of cross stitch. Good morning. It is Sunday morning, the 19th, and it's about 9:30. And I stayed up a little late last night working on the back stitching here. So I added this line of back stitch, and I back stitched all of this sail. This part over here is going to run into the mast next to it, so I can't back stitch that part yet. And then, of course, I did the 580 stitches, finishing this up and doing this part of the sail down here. So all in all, I did almost 1,200 back stitches yesterday. So when I divide that by 2 and add all of the whole stitches I did 1,110 stitches on this yesterday. And I ended up stitching 9 hours and 15 minutes yesterday because I really wanted to get the back stitching on that sail done. So that's where this one is going to end up for the week. And if you hold on a second, I'll show you my next project. Okay, so this is Once Upon a Fairytale. This is artwork by Jenna, Della, Grottaglia, Maldonado, and it's a Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm stitching this on 28 count, 1/1 full cross, and if you watch my usual videos, you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek. So far this month, I've finished off this page, and so we're going to come over here and start on this page this weekend. I'll give you a little bit of a close-up of the whole thing. Doesn't the owl look so good? So yeah, I'm going to put this in the hoop and get started on this page, and I'll check in with you in a little while. Hi everyone, it's 8:30 on Sunday night, and I've stitched for 6 hours and 10 minutes today, and according to my counter clock, I have 35 minutes left to reach 24 hours of cross stitch for the weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and put away Once Upon a Fairytale and switch to my daily 30 piece. So today on Once Upon a Fairytale I did 1,145 stitches. You might not be able to tell, the top of the page is here. So I worked pretty much the first block all the way across the page. This is the end of the page here. And then maybe 2 or 3 blocks down here on the far left side of the page. So I think that's pretty good progress for today, especially in 6 hours. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Pixie Lane. Yesterday I didn't show you my progress. Yesterday I did 85 stitches and about 4 rows of the red top of the mushroom. So this is where I'm picking up from today, and I will see you when my 24 hours is complete. Okay everyone, that's a wrap. That is 24 hours and 6 minutes of stitching done this weekend. So you can see on day 1 I did exactly 8 hours. On day 2 I did 9 hours and 16 minutes. And today on day 3 I did 6 hours and 48 minutes to round off the 24 hours. So I'll show you where I finished up. So I was working on my 30 minutes a day on Pixie Lane, and I got 89 stitches in. And so in total over the weekend I got 214 stitches on Pixie Lane. I figured I would go through and give you a little recap of everything I did this weekend. So on Friday I started off with Ornament Log Cabin Home, and over Friday and a little bit on Saturday I did 1,249 stitches. And then on Saturday I switched to Poltergeist Pirates by Glendon Place, and I did 1,110 stitches. And then today on Sunday I worked on Once Upon a Fairytale. That's artwork by Jenna, Della, Grottaglia, and Maldonado, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I did 1,145 stitches. So in total, over the 3 days on 4 different projects, I got a total of 3,718 stitches, which is just incredible. I've done 24 hours of cross stitch before, but I haven't tracked my time. Typically, I track my stitches, and I aimed for 2,400 stitches, and so I just blew that out of the water, way surpassed my expectations. So let me know if you participated in 24 hours of cross stitch this weekend, or if you've ever done it before, what you think. And if you didn't, what were you up to this weekend? I'd love to hear from you. So drop me a comment below, and I will see you at the end of the month for my October recap. Bye!